everyone. Thanks for joining me on my little journey through cooking all of these recipes in this cookbook. Today, I have decided I'm going to do 2 salads. I'm not really doing this cookbook in order. I'm kind of doing it by whatever feels right, or sometimes whatever ingredients I may already have. That way I don't have to buy anything. So these are the 2 salads that I'm going to do. They're very similar, as you can see there. The first salad is called Bannertowb broccoli salad. This one has mayonnaise, sugar, red wine vinegar, broccoli, bacon, cheddar cheese, and red onion. The second recipe right below it is called Bee's broccoli salad. It has a little quote that says, "No beating around the bush, it's delicious." So we'll see about that. This one calls for a cup of mayonnaise or salad dressing, 2 tablespoons red cider vinegar, sugar, broccoli, pecans or pecans. I don't say it that way, but for those who just can't stand the word pecan, and red onion, raisins, and bacon. So for the first salad, I'm probably going to do maybe just 1 substitution of a better type of mayo. And on the second salad, I don't have raisins, so I'm going to substitute cranberries, which I think will be even more delicious. So let's get started. Okay. Get that up here. So I've already done a couple of steps to make this video a lot shorter. I went ahead and I've chopped my broccoli, and I decided not to do it all that way. I could show you a little bit. So I'm going to move this cookbook aside. Page won't stay open. And so I've chopped up my broccoli. I'd say I only had 2 crowns, and I didn't want to buy any groceries to do this. So I would say I did about 1 crown of broccoli, 1 head, 1 crown of broccoli per salad, which means I'm going to have to cut this down probably by a half or even a quarter of the recipe, which is fine. We don't need like a whole ton of broccoli salad for just my husband and I tonight. So, okay, let's see here. Bannertowb broccoli salad. It calls for 3/4 cup mayo. I am going to substitute, I think I'm going to substitute a little bit, like maybe a spoonful of Greek yogurt, and this better for you mayonnaise that doesn't include soy or bad ingredients. So I think we're just going to do about 1/4 cup, which I would say would be about a heaping tablespoon of this mayonnaise, and Greek yogurt just to lighten it up a little bit so it's not so heavy and fattening. So that's about a heaping tablespoon too. All right, what else do we need? Says 3 tablespoons of sugar. I need to grab my sugar. I am going to also substitute coconut sugar instead of regular sugar, just to make it taste a little different. So since it's 3 tablespoons, I'm just going to do probably about a tablespoon. There we go. Red wine vinegar. I'm definitely going to keep that in here. So that is just about 3 tablespoons. So I'm just going to do about 1 tablespoon. Okay, I've got broccoli already. It calls for bacon. I already took that step and cooked this bacon on my grill outside, and it's ready to use. So this calls for 8 strips of bacon. Since we're quartering the recipe, that means I'm only going to do 2 strips of bacon. 1, 2. All right, yum, yum, yum. You can probably also leave the bacon out if you're a vegetarian or you just don't like bacon, but my gosh, bacon makes things so delicious. Okay, next is shredded cheddar cheese. It calls for 1 cup. I'm not changing this because I love cheese too. So I'm going to do about a 1/4 cup. And once again, you know me, I don't really like to follow measurements. I just eyeball things. So I'm going to say this is about a 1/4 cup. Remember, you don't need to take cooking so seriously. Learn to have some fun. Okay, our last ingredients, well, it's only one. It's red onion. So I'm just going to chop. It calls for 1 red onion, but I'm only going to do probably about a tablespoon of red onion because I find red onion to be so strong and pungent. So I prefer to have less onion than more. Okay. I'm just going to do tiny little slices. You don't want big old chunks of onion in here because it's going to overpower all of the flavors. There we go. I think I like that. So, I mean, I'd say that's about a tablespoon. So I'm going to start with that, mix it up and taste it and see if I want to add more in. Okay, so that's it. That's all the ingredients. See how quick that was to make that? Okay, let's stir that together. You know, it seems like back then, most of their salads are made with mayonnaise and cheese and bacon and egg. I mean, half the recipes in this cookbook have that, but I mean, that's just the way they did it in the South and, you know, also in that time and era. So there we go. There she be. There's our broccoli salad called Bannertowb broccoli salad. So I'm going to give this a little try. It looks like I may have put a little bit too much yogurt and mayo. I'd probably lighten it up, but let's see here. That's pretty good. That's really good. I would probably, I'm just going to take a little bit of broccoli from my other salad and mix that in because that's just a little strong. I probably would add a little more onion too, so I'm just going to add another pinch. And I don't know, I feel like it needs a little salt and pepper. That's not, I know back then they just made recipes simple, but I love some pepper. Just a tiny bit of salt. And I think I know what else. It tastes a little vinegary, so I'm just going to add another pinch of my coconut sugar. I guess I do need to remember that if I'm going to substitute coconut sugar for regular sugar, it's not as strong in sweetness. So you have to consider that because you may have to add just a little more. Oh yeah, this looks a lot better. Oh yeah, try it again. Let's see here. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I think the only other thing I'm going to fix is still kind of vinegary. So I'm going to add just a little more cheese. So this is the problem when you make recipes and cut them down really small. I feel like it's just hard to get it to come out right unless you were to follow the full batch, but more bacon, more cheese can't hurt it, right? All right, so there you have it, Bannertowb broccoli salad. Okay, I'm going to put that aside for later. And we're going to make this next salad, which I'm really excited about. It sounds so delicious. So I really don't have much broccoli left, but we're going to make this work. It calls once again for mayonnaise or salad dressing. I don't know what kind of salad dressing they mean, but I actually, yesterday, I had some egg yolks left, so I made some homemade lemon mayonnaise. So I think I'm going to try this in this recipe. And this time I'm just going to add a little bit because I feel like that other salad was a little heavy in dressing. And hey, that's probably the way they ate it back then, but oh, it's just a little too saucy for me. So now we have the mayonnaise in there. It also calls for sugar. So this time I'm not going to use coconut sugar. I think I'm going to use some monk fruit sugar. That way we're still keeping it a little light. So we'll add in, I'd say, about a tablespoon and a half. And let's see, sugar, red cider vinegar. I don't know what they mean by red cider vinegar. I know they don't mean red wine vinegar. Anywho, I'm just going to use apple cider vinegar because, you know, any vinegar seems to be good. So I'm just going to do very little because I feel like my last salad had too much vinegar in it. So I just did a few dashes. 1 bunch broccoli. So there's the broccoli. It calls for 1/2 cup of chopped pecans, but I'm going to substitute sliced almonds. Okay, so let's say that's good enough. That's about 1/8 a cup. And 1/2 cup of chopped red onion. I'm going to add this red onion I already chopped up. This is about a tablespoon. And then instead of using raisins, we're going to use 1/8 of a cup of cranberries. That's about 1/8 of a cup. And then what else do we have? Bacon again. What do you know? They put bacon in almost everything. So I'm going to do, I did 3 pieces last time, so I'm probably just going to do about 3 pieces again. Cooked bacon. There we go. This one looks good. Okay, bacon. Stir this up. I do think this time I didn't add enough mayonnaise. I only did 1 tablespoon. So I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons. Just not like really heaping. My last recipe I did heaping tablespoons, and I think that was my problem. So let's see this is much better. Not as, the other salad is very, very, very dressing forward, and this one's a lot lighter. So I'm happy with that. 1 heavy broccoli salad and 1 light broccoli salad. Mix that well, and I'm gonna give it a try. I think that turned out great. Just perfect. So there you have it. Let me stage these in a couple bowls. Here we go. We'll use some red bowls. What a great start to this cookbook. One. And salad number 2. All right. Those look great. I'm ready to serve this with our dinner tonight. There we go. This is salad number 1, which is the Bannertowb broccoli salad, and then the Bees broccoli salad. Yum, yum, yum. All right, y'all. I sure look forward to doing many more of these recipes. Thanks for joining me on my first day of cooking in the Mayberry Cookbook. If you like what I'm doing, I'd love if you could like this video and subscribe to my YouTube page. All right, have a good one.